Sky, Children's Delight, has a community that most people see as collaborative, helpful, or kind. And most of the time, I have to agree with that assessment. However, there are some cases in which deep pockets fester within Sky's fandoms, causing a whole host of goofy shenanigans to take place. This is a tale of one of these shenanigans. KP, also known as King Propaganda, is one of the most obscure pieces of Sky's fandom history that I'll ever tell of. So let's start. First, I'd like to say that King Propaganda happened between 2021 and 2022. Most of its members and people involved in the controversy have disappeared from the Sky fandom at large, and thus I'll keep their names anonymous. I was the only person involved with this controversy who is still here, so I have to make sure to give an accurate and objective reading of what actually happened. My memory is a bit clouded, and not everything I'll say will be fully factual to what actually happened, but I'd still like to give as fair as an assessment I can on what actually happened in those weird months. So Sky has various different communities that people like to focus on one specific interest. One of these interests is Sky lore. I've talked about Sky lore plenty in this channel, but the Sky lore discussion spoilers is really the main place where people talk about lore. Lore Discussion Spoilers is a channel in the official Discord server, and people have talked thousands, hundreds of thousands of messages probably, of the various happenings and various new events that have happened in Sky lore. And one of the most important and interesting events is the reveal of the King, happening gradually over the years, where the King has become this extremely mysterious, unknown figure only seen in concept arts, to this high-profile character we see actually living and breathing in, for example, the two Embers. However, back in 2021, the King was far more ambiguous and mysterious. The only real appearance was in the Season of Prophecy murals, and there's no actual name or figure given to this character, just a glowing boy found in the murals. Thus, people became crazy trying to figure out every little clue found in the Sky world that somehow connected to the King in some way. These groups of people coalesced into the Sky Lore Discussion Spoilers channel, and eventually there was a group named called King Propaganda. Eventually, King Propaganda became a force of its own, where every single or a vast majority of the posts in the Lore Discussion Spoilers channel became about the King. This happened around mid-2021 and continued for months and months, and a server was made, comprising many of the important members in the story. Called KP, it was founded around, I'd say, summer or August, maybe September of 2021. However, I have also played a part in the story. I joined King Propaganda myself around the later parts, October or November of 2021, and I wasn't that active. One of the members kept on muting me, I remember that, and I was just mostly a spectator to what was going on. On December 2021, the real news happened. I suddenly woke up to find King Propaganda in disarray. There are leaked channels, there are announcements, there are people quitting the server, and what eventually happened came to me. Basically, two of the King Propaganda members, the most high up and well known of them, had posted extremely racist jokes and memes in a private channel, and somehow this had leaked onto the broader server, and people figured out, with these two members leaving, and eventually the rest of the server leaving as well. The server continued for a few weeks after that, or until it was deleted. And soon, most of the King Propaganda members left. So what happened afterwards? I, and some of the KP members who were not as connected to the controversy, still talked in Lore Discussion Spoilers for a while after that. And there's also this one member who continued being as toxic and rude as ever. Thankfully, that guy left for a few months, though I've still heard that they lurk on Sky's Facebook group somewhere. But all in all, the influence of KP has been reduced to zero. This was really marking a turning point in Sky's lore, because at this point, even though Sky itself was focusing more on the King, the discussions around lore became more diverse and varied. more new people joined Skylore, and it became less of an elitist and toxic place. For example, more people talked about the various creatures and personalities of Sky. And even though the king appeared on and on throughout the years, overall, not as much people talk about it as in the peak, where people were consistently obsessed with any little trace of the king. So that's it then. Ultimately, this whole KP thing is a useless nonsense in the long run, but I guess I just wanted you guys to know about this often overlooked parts of Sky's history, and I want to prepare myself for the most extreme, toxic, and worst controversy in Sky's history. That is whitewashing. I might try to do some more positive videos in the meantime. Whitewashing is going to be a whole can of worms.